And we are back
Hello.
at the Thanks for Sharing podcast. We are brought to you by. Brought. It's brought.
Bort.
We are brought to you by Dan Rouse at Cherry Hill Mitsubishi, KO Pest Control, KCD Construction, Pace Roofing, Colt Recording, Hoover Delivery Service, ERT Restoration, J. Bose Creations. That's a new one. Art History, Kelsey Kool-Aid Art, who's currently working at Through Being Cool. Follow her. She's great. Had a great 4th of July barbecue. It was a fun time. Sharky's Barbershop, Artie Realty, Bone Marrow, Capital Adjustment, Santini's Grill, A-Plus Insurance at Tyson and Castor in the Boulevard, very nasty, and Ivy Innovations.
That is a solid list, bro.
We tried.
Bro, that's great.
I have people just hitting me up, and they're like, yo, give the business a shout out.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible. A lot of Neasty up in there.
We keep it nasty.
I love that.
Love that. My boy Brandon Novak, pretty well known skater. He was on here and he was like, "Your fucking sponsorship thing sounds like an AA meeting." I said, "It is." I said, "Good call. I never thought of it."
That was
You're
pretty
not
good.
wrong. Yeah,
that was pretty good.
He is not wrong.
That was pretty good.
I have Vasily in the building.
Hello. How are you? A true Neasty.
True Neasty. True Greek too.
Very Greek.
My boy George was on here and he's the Greek. And after talking to you for like
I'm
30
Greek
minutes, you're Greek as fuck.
I'm Greek as fuck.
Yeah.
I have I
Malacca.
think like 4 or 5 Greek tattoos and 1 American tattoo. They're very Greek.
I have no national. I have some clovers on
2 of
me,
them
so
are
I
naked
guess.
men, which I always get made fun of about.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't. But
The inside
do.
of my lip says "jam it," so you think, which I didn't think about until after I got it.
That'll go away though.
It's still there. It's in there good.
How long? Oh man, it's in there good. I don't think I've ever seen one that good. Actually.
Yeah, Mark, do you remember when you got your "jam it" tattoo?
He has a jam it tattoo.
He has it on his leg with a cassette tape.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you got it?
Yeah. 2017, I think.
Yes. So I got mine shortly after. 2017.
That looks pretty
'Cause
fresh.
Me and him were telling people to jam it all the time, and I was like, I'll get it inside my lip. And then I realized it's a little gay.
Like outside of the tramp stamp, that's probably the second.
I have considered getting a bullseye on my lower back just to go for it.
Just in case, you know.
Yeah, just to go for it. And people are like, "Oh, you got anything on your back?" And I'm like, "Funny you say that. Got a bullseye on my
But
lower
then
back."
people might go for it.
Whatever.
You're not afraid of the repercussions?
I never been scared.
Not being put in a woman's position like that.
Yeah, true.
No.
I mean, to quote Bone Crusher, I ain't never scared. Dude. So
East Side? I actually
Yeah.
love that. Cameron on the ring. I love that.
I tried
song.
talking to this one girl I work with. Young girl. She's like 19 or 20. I forget what she is, but I was like, you know what Bone Crusher said? She said, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, Bone Crushers are the shit.
Bone Crusher,
Yeah.
bro.
I was like, you remember Little John? I was like, it's pretty much that, except
He had
a
a-
fat dude.
He had another song called Fat Man Stomp,
Yeah.
which I love. I
You're
bet
an
you that-
advocate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went Fat Man Stomp, womp, 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 womp. It's incredible.
That's a good anthem to just
Incredible.
to just listen
And
to.
he's a large man.
He is a large man.
He's a large man.
Does a lot for the community.
Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't know if he does, but it's
Ah.
just something to say.
He's
you
still
know?
around.
He's still around.
He's still respected.
Well, they did a Dumb Ugly video, and they were talking about Bone Crusher, and he liked it on Instagram.
That's pretty cool.
So they made Bone Crusher relevant again.
That's pretty cool. That maybe they can do the same with Bubba Sparks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why not?
He'll start cooking.
I know. I was listening to Luda today, and I was
I
like,
like Luda.
very underrated, dude.
Here's the thing: he's not from Atlanta, so they don't like him in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
imagine like where you're from is the biggest rap place, and everywhere else loves you, but they don't.
Yeah. Where's he from?
Chicago.
Oh,
He was
from
like an
the shop.
Atlanta radio,
Transplant?
radio, yeah, and like
Oh.
a radio guy. And the
okay.
Chris Lover show. I think it's Mr. Lover, like that was his like radio name.
Yeah. He just has such clever punchlines that it's just hard to not
I miss him rapping. Fuck the Fast and the Furious. More for anything.
I have been losing it over the memes lately.
First of all, I hate the franchise except for Tokyo Drift, which I love. It's the only one and that's like the least.
the first two weren't bad.
They weren't good.
That's true.
They weren't. But people will tell you like it's cinema, and I'll be like, no, bro.
Yeah, that's not cinema.
We're
we
the
got
ca-
a cinema buff
Were
here,
the
dude.
cars cool? Yes.
I'm not a car guy.
Could
don't
I
give a shit.
watch like Le Mans or like F1? Like I could watch real racing. You know what I mean? Nah. I'm not with the Fast and the Furious shit. Fuck all that.
See, I have a nasty problem where I'm too easily entertained that I rarely will I watch a movie and be like, that sucked.
I'm a little snobby.
Yeah, okay.
I don't even watch, like I said, I was telling you, I don't do a lot of comedy because I don't think a lot of it's good. I
Yeah.
watch a lot of like heavy stuff. You know what I mean?
Comedy's a tough one.
If you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, but like it's. I think it's the hardest thing to do. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. Actually, I really did, and the nuns beat it out of me. So I did the next hardest thing, which is be a white rapper. So at least I have a DJ playing background. Like I have something.
You have someone up there with you.
It's not even if that dude don't know me from a can of paint. I have my music. You know. Whereas it's just you, the microphone, these strangers. You know, and your heart, your life.
Yeah.
It's very intimidating. One time I was at a show in North Philly, and they wanted me to perform without my music. Like he wasn't going to download it from a link, and they didn't tell me to bring anything.
Just do an acapella.
Yeah, and I'm like, I am the lone fleck of salt in a pepper shaker right now. Like I need, like I'll do it, but I need, like you got to give me my music. Like you're not just going to let me up there right now without like that bang and that boom, so people know what time it is. You know?
You need the bang and the boom.
Whereas when you get a show and you go up there, you don't know what's going on in that crowd.
Well, my first ever show that wasn't an open mic was 310's record release show.
Okay.
Which
That's your twin, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
twin brother.
yeah.
My mom met him, and I was like, Mom, that's, he was on Law and
I have
Order.
a twin similar. His name's Ghetto MC. I don't know if you know Ghetto.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
But unlike me, being fat and white, he's tall
Skinny
and
black
and
dude.
thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
And black as well.
Yeah, also as well as black.
Yeah,
And, yeah, I think I was very white at 310 show. There was a lot of brothers there.
I was not there. He makes dope music, though.
He does.
310 is dope. At whatever he does, whatever he wants to
He's
do.
a creature. He's not from this planet, dude.
Yeah, like they set me up. His very first Marston House freestyle, the very first one he ever. None of us know him.
You go before him or after him?
I go after him. They ask me if it's okay.
Yeah.
If he goes before me. I take one look at 310.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this dude is about to set everything on fire. This is what goes in my head because, like, looking how he looks, he has to be a monster. There's no way they brought him. That was like their guy. You know what I mean? Like they're setting me up.
Yeah.
For sure. And sure enough, first words out of his mouth are burn your house down.
Yeah.
And he just starts smashing shit. And I'm like, oh, they did set me up.
Then, ironically, his house burnt down later
That's
in life.
fucking horrible.
It is horrible.
He moved, man. I miss him.
He did move.
I thought I saw him a lot.
He's down south. I
know.
think North
He was from
Carolina.
down there, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Fayetteville, I believe.
Yeah.
Which I heard is, I hope he's in a
from
good
the Ville.
place, but I heard it's a rough, Fayetteville is a rough place from what I understand.
That's where your boy came from, dude.
Who?
J. Cole.
Oh, I'm not a, not
a fan.
my boy.
No. I said your boy sarcastically.
He was
Yeah,
good.
right.
You did good. You did so good you got me.
Yeah.
J. Cole, while I do like him like as a dude, and I give him a ton of credit for the way he does things. Tons of credit, right? I don't like the music. He's not so good. Very average, painfully average sometimes, I think.
He's very good.
Many people
Agree
do.
to degree.
No, many people do. And I like the fact that he wins. It makes me feel good when J. Cole wins.
Yeah.
Even though I don't like his music per se. You
When
know?
we were at the Fubacue,
Oh, nice.
when I missed you,
Yeah.
a certain rapper there who will remain nameless, and I know probably just does not watch this, so who cares? I could say his name, but I'm not going to.
Protect the innocent.
Protect the Innocent. He pulled up to the barbecue, and that came out right when J. Cole's new album came out, and he said, everyone here is better at rapping than J. Cole. And I said, that's not true.
I don't know if that's not true. I don't know if that's not true.
He said everyone, though.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, fair enough.
He said everyone.
You're not better at rapping than J. You were there.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not.
So, J. Cole, and like I liked him early on.
Yeah.
And then I heard Born Sinner, and it was, I didn't like that.
You didn't like Born Sinner?
No, it was, I tried to do 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like,
Love that.
Recently, like on the way to work, give it a proper.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I thought he missed a little bit when he started putting out major ones. I thought that one was brilliant.
Which one?
2014 Forest
Oh,
Hills Drive.
everybody says that's the
Yeah.
one.
Friday Night Lights is my favorite. The mixtape before he dropped a studio album.
Yeah, like I didn't, I liked Who Dat a lot.
Yeah,
that was a
song's
great
good.
song.
That is a good song.
I expected more of that,
Yeah.
but no.
Big hip-hop
I didn't know he was
guy,
from
though.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville, North
I
Carolina.
didn't know that. No.
Yeah, he's always shouting out the Ville.
Oh, Dreamville Records.
Yeah, man.
It's all coming together.
Dollar and a
They got a
Dream,
guy
dude.
named Boss, so that also, secondly, just sits in my craw a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Too similar.
Too similar.
Too similar.
He's kind of big too.
Yeah.
Is JID with them?
I don't know. Is he?
I
Yes,
saw
we got
him
a yes.
live before. That kid could go a little bit. And he's on Conway's new album. Him and Luda. You should check that song out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw JID live in Atlanta. He was good.
Griselda's one of those things where I just don't listen to it, but everything I heard, I'm like, this is so good. Why don't I listen to this?
There's a lot of it. Maybe
Yeah.
it's kind of like we're talking about Naruto
Because what they just
earlier.
did that
It's just a
DMX
lot.
song
Fire.
after DMX died.
Look, I
like,
was
this is
early
so
early
good.
in the Griselda stuff, so I love seeing everybody like in with the movement. It makes me feel good.
Yeah,
So
it makes
I
you think that hip hop can come back.
Well, they signed because of them. People are doing things.
Yeah.
Things are very different, and you can make money without having to stream. I
Yeah.
think that's what they proved. Like you can make a lot of money without doing things the way other people do business. There's a business, and they made it their market. It may not even been there. Like other people were doing big things, like Rock Marcy and Action Bronson.
Yeah,
But they used that, impetus, and then poof, busted the doors wide open. And now there's a huge market for merch and vinyl, and CDs are worth money. Like who would have ever thought you buy a CD to listen to when we were growing up? Now
Yeah.
people buy CDs and tapes as collectible items, and you still stream everything or have the
I
MP3s.
remember going to the wall, man.
Yeah, that's how you got music.
Yeah,
What was your first tape or first CD?
first album.
Yes.
Let's see. Which is weird because I always forget the year it came out. The first thing my mom ever bought me, we went to the wall. I was like 4 or 5. I was like in kindergarten. It
you're
was
a kid.
1996 Eternal, Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I actually bought that for a friend of mine.
Which I feel like was like their address in Cleveland, like a street.
It's 1999.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
because
why I
that's
think
not the year it came out.
No.
Yeah, it came out way before that. 'cause
At
I
that
was young.
point, they had 3 straight years on a box with having the #1 song.
Yeah.
The first one, Thuggish Ruggish Bone, from
Yeah.
the first album.
And then Crossroads.
And then Crossroads, the last one, and in between,
First of the month.
first of the month.
Yeah.
So they were on Smash.
It's an all-time favorite song.
Not a lot of rappers from Cleveland.
No, not a lot of people from Cleveland.
It's.
I mean, there's people there. Don't get me wrong.
Northeast Philly might be bigger than
Yeah.
Cleveland.
LeBron,
Akron.
Yeah, but
Akron.
true.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Not a fan.
He
Yeah.
can rap. I don't like his music most of the time.
Yeah.
He's got a couple bops, as the kids would say.
Well, I'm like real into like pop punk. Like Newfound Glory is my favorite band, and everyone's like, "Did you listen to his pop punk album?" I'm like, "No."
My first tape, first album, I was 9 years old, was Green Day.
Green
Dookie.
Day, Dookie. Yep,
Pop. And I don't like pop punk, but I like that.
that's a classic right there.
That was really good.
Big Green Day guy.
Yeah.
Never fell out of love with them. Like bands I listened to as a kid, like Blink-182, I loved. I cannot listen to them if they're on right now.
One of my favorite bands who I like and still listen to, but it's not all good, is Korn. Like I grew up loving Korn.
Korn's sick.
I loved, but then like sometimes, especially after the first 2 albums, everything just kind of gets me upset.
Yeah, dude. When they put "Follow the Leader" out, yet again, I went to the wall and I bought it, and I didn't read the cover. I don't know if you know this, but like the first 14 minutes are silent. So tracks 1 through 14 are nothing. So I
yeah.
thought the CD was broken.
You took it back.
No, I just someone read it finally, and they're like, "Did you not read the front of this?"
That's
was
when
like,
I
"No."
fell out of love with like hard alternative music and went into hip hop. That album,
Yeah.
I went and bought that in Cherry Hill with my mom. Somebody got me like a gift certificate, and I went to Sam Goody or whatever, Coconuts, or The Wall, whatever it was called at the time. Yeah, and I bought that album and I listened to it. I was like, every song is the same.
Yeah.
And I love Todd McFarlane. I love that cover, and I really went in, I just went straight into hip hop. It was my freshman year at Judge, right before the year started, and McGuire and Sosa were in the home run race. And I remember being like, well, this is a changing of things.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was kind of done with, the WDRE, Y100,
Yeah. You got
YSP
into the hip
years.
hop, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always liked hip hop.
I did, but not I became like.
Obviously, Bone Thugs was my first album I ever got.
I tried.
And Dookie was around that same time too. So.
I tried with CDs. My first CD, I tried to buy Junior Mafia, and my dad took one look at it and was like, "Mafia?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No." So I got Smashing Pumpkins, Melancholy, and the Infinite Sadness,
Nice.
and that was a letdown. That hurt me.
That was
bad.
let down. I'm not a big Smashing Pumpkins guy.
I like
myself.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, they're
That
all right.
sold like 10 million albums or 6 million albums, but it wasn't for me. They pulled the old rope-a-dope. They could drop like 2 hard records,
Yeah.
and everything else on the album was soft. Pussy.
That's a letdown. What was the first hip hop album that did it for you?
I bought 2 from like Columbia House at the same time, and they had the same single, Warren G, Regulate, and the Above the Rim soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
So
dude.
early on, I started out with a West Coast vibe for sure.
Yeah.
I was definitely into Dre and Snoop and stuff like that.
Yeah. Space Jam, phenomenal soundtrack.
Yeah, and that like combined like Miami bass music too.
Yeah.
You know, with like hardcore rap.
Yeah, and who doesn't like all that, dude?
That Busta Rhymes, Method Man,
Be Real.
and LL. Is it LL?
And I think Coolio's on it, too.
Maybe it might be Coolio.
Maybe LL's on it,
I'm
pretty
thinking
sure.
LL Cool J. It might just be Coolio is what I'm remembering.
I think both of them might be on it, dude.
Yeah, man. They made the new one's coming out, and that hurts my.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible.
It hurts my soul.
And I'm going to
bro.
see it, but it's going to be terrible.
It hurts my soul that
Yeah.
they did. Why?
They made the Looney Tunes CGI. They're not even animated, which there's no need for that.
Look, it's just that no need for this movie. This movie does not have to happen.
It really doesn't, man.
I don't, especially for a guy who doesn't want to be compared to somebody to do. Like you're asking for all of it.
Yeah. You wore his number.
You're
doing the same movie.
You're asking for all of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a non-fan. Like I like LeBron, but I also cheer when terrible things.
I'm like every other year with him, dude. He does something that just like I fuck with him, and I'm like, he really is that good.
We're the same age, so I always
Then
watch his
something
life.
happens, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I just watch his life, and like we're the same age, so I'm like,
Yeah, that's upsetting, ain't it?
A little bit.
Sometimes. Like
A
I
little
remember
bit.
being 18 and 18-year-old pro basketball players, and I'm like,
And he was like the one too.
Yeah.
I remember watching him come up. Like he was like it. He was. I don't think we've seen anything like him since. Like there are other great players,
Yeah.
but not like a phenom who we all knew.
yeah, no, he really does. He does a lot, man.
He's great.
He is
I think he's
great.
a great player.
But I just every other year, I think I hated him this year. So next
I love
year I'll
watching
probably
his
be-
hair fall out though.
Yeah, he's doing.
I
it.
love when he acts like he gets hurt and the hockey fans shit on him.
Yeah,
It's
dude,
it's always
flopping in basketball is quite comical.
it's
nowadays.
bad now.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like soccer. They watch soccer.
Yeah.
And like James Harden and Trae Young have made like an art and science out of the flop.
Yeah,
And
Trae
I
Young's
kind of
a
hate them for it.
ugly motherfucker.
He's got weird. He's not ugly, but then like if you really look at his hair,
Yeah.
his teeth, there's something there where you want to make fun of him. You know.
I think you can do that with anyone. If you just look at him long enough, you're like, oh,
But he's hateable.
yeah.
He's good
hateable.
though. I think Trae Young. Is
I liked
great.
him in Oklahoma. Not that I'm a big college sports guy, but I did like
When
him
people
in
hated,
Oklahoma.
not that I watched a lot, but when people hated him, I watched him play. Like this kid's for real.
Yeah.
He's gonna be for real. I didn't quite understand what like they're like. He's not gonna be
watched-
as good as a pro. I'm like, I think he'll be because you can shoot more as a pro.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
watched one Oklahoma game and he had like 27 assists, and I was like, oh, that's insane.
He did that against the Sixers. I think maybe not the game. I went to the 26 point.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a Sixers shirt right now.
Yeah.
Very. It's
under the Habs jersey.
Yeah, it's very sad. The
Yeah, it
Habs
is
jersey
sad.
is sad too. But
How do you think I feel? I got the Sixers logo tattooed on my thumbs. It's just there.
I love the
forever.
Sixers.
I
though.
do too.
I didn't root for them for years. I wasn't a big Iverson guy, and I
Yeah.
didn't like Billy King.
Okay.
So like in that era, I wanted like, and when they would kill it, I'd be behind them, but it was hard.
Yeah.
You know. Looking back though, I had Iverson every night on my TV, and
Right.
that's a privilege, man.
That was a
He's a
privilege.
special
He was
dude.
the best. My buddy almost fought him at a casino.
He's a douche.
Yeah.
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 Good for him though. You know what I mean?
No, but we'll take his baggage.
Yeah, we'll take
Here's
his
the thing:
baggage.
if you're super talented, I'll put up with a lot of your baggage. See biz over there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
True.
If you got a lot of talent, I'll stomach your bullshit
Yeah.
to an extent. You know. Royce, I think, in a song said something like, if you're whack, you're someone I don't like as a person.
Yeah.
And so for me, like the reverse of that's also true. Like if you're dope, like if it can come with some shit,
Yeah.
you know. But like
With great power comes great responsibility. Type of
exactly,
deal.
and like dumb rappers need teaching, so you got to help these.
I don't
kids
know if
along.
my baggage is overwhelming for you yet. I know it's been like 20 minutes, but I don't know.
You're fine.
Yeah. I like to
You know
think
what?
so,
At least
dude.
you're honest. You know what I'm saying?
I found it's the best policy.
So like, as long as you're there, then I can, then I can see eye to eye with a lot of people. You just got to be, your nasty self. You're just ugly.
True.
Just be that person
That's me, man.
and work on that guy.
Yeah, the same guy you see on that poster, that's sitting right here.
He only looks much happier than I've ever seen you.
Yeah, he does look happy, right?
He looks very happy.
I'm mostly happy. I'll joke that I'm depressed a lot, which is just not, it's
I'm
just easier to-
depressed.
yeah,
I go to therapy for that shit, for sure.
Mazel. Good. Take care of yourself.
Oh,
dude.
fuck yeah. Look, at some point, a little while back, I tried to shoot a rap video, and I laid down on the ground and caught vertigo.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
just-
I started taking care of my back. Then I came downstairs one day and my roommate had the show Charmed on.
Yeah.
And the Smiths song, How Soon Is Now, is the theme song. And I listened to it and I cried. I got in my car, I ran it straight, cried probably every day for a month. And then I saw therapy. Then I had my therapist dump me. I had my very first therapist dump me. And I'll explain to you, this is where we talked a little bit about this earlier. He asked me to go to Overeaters Anonymous.
Yeah.
Because I'm fat. And I'm like, I don't really want to, dude.
Yeah.
But like, you really think I should go? He's like, just go. Just check it out.
It's like an attack on a personal level. That's probably not even mental health. He's like, I think you need to do this while you're at it.
Well, look, he just wanted to put me in like some structure.
Yeah.
You know, and when you have a problem with something, structure helps, right? So I went to a couple of these Overeaters Anonymous. I bought the literature, you know. I'll never go back to anything like that ever again. I think it made me feel worse, me personally.
Just different creatures there, huh?
Yeah, like, you know, people just, I thought, you know, and like, obviously the food is the solution and the alcohol, that's your solution, right? But people just pick fights with themselves in there a lot. And I was like, look, I need to do less of that. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like it was triggering behavior for me, you know?
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, you don't have to go, whatever. And a couple
Especially
months
when
later.
you got a dude my size saying they ordered pizza. Why would they do that for me? That's what you're telling me.
Yeah,
before.
bro, they were smaller than you, like
Yeah.
a small man.
Yeah.
And he was like, it happened at work today. And I was like, what was so bad? He was like, they ordered pizza and just gave it to everybody. And I was like, well, you ain't got to eat the pizza, dude. Like, but it's just sitting. And I was like, all right, you know?
I have done that with pizza myself.
Mind you, like at my job, we used to have like a smorgasbord of treats. Like, so I hear where he's coming from.
Right.
But like, that is not anybody else's problem but yours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then there's a lady who bought like $200 worth of frozen foods and just threw it all out because it was bad food. And I'm like, I don't need to be around this, me personally.
That's negative energy right there, dude.
So then, because I was smoking pot at the time, my therapist was like, I want you to try to go to see a behavioral health guy downstairs once for like, you know, substance. I'm like, all right. I go, I see this dude. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go see that dude again. He's like, well, then you're going to have to go to rehab after work. And I was like, rehab after work? I still don't know what that is. He's like, well, look, if you don't do either of these things, like, I'm going to stop. And my therapist broke up with me right then and there, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah, and I didn't go back to therapy for a while. It's not like he transitioned me to a new therapist or took any responsibility for my mental health.
He's just like, all right, I'm out.
Pretty much.
Wow. Over weed.
Over weed.
That's
I felt hurt.
And I know I should sound like an advocate being a sober guy, like be like, oh, but it's weed.
It's, you know what I mean? Look, it's a substance.
Yeah.
And like, I saw MC Search recently was on Drink Champs. I don't know if you ever watched that podcast. But he's been sober for 10 years. And they were like goading him to be like, well, what are you sober from or whatever? And he was like, weed. And Nori laughed in his face.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, I feel like the guy from How High. Like, you know what I mean? Like, boo this man, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Half-baked.
Yeah, half-baked.
You ever
you
sucked
got
dick
it.
from marijuana?
You ever sucked? Yeah, you got it.
Well, every time I've been in rehab, I only went 3 times. I know a lot of people who have been way more than me.
Sure.
But I remember every time I went, there was at least like one kid whose parents sent him there for weed.
But he
and
didn't
that's
go,
like going to upstate prison for jaywalking.
But he or she didn't go there for that reason, you know? This was like Search's choice, and it worked, and he's 10 years clean. And like, he has podcasts about being clean, and like sobriety is a big part of his brand and what he's trying to do right now.
Yeah.
But like, they straight made fun of him. And I'm like, I don't know, like, weed's definitely a drug.
I think people think it's a part of my brand because that's where I got the podcast name from, but it's also like, I just like the name. It's a huge part of my life, you know, but I'm just like, who cares, you know? Mm-hmm. It was my problem at the end of the day, and to force it on other people, be like, you get me? And I have a lot of sober people on here, but it's just...
Yeah, and like...
People are fascinated by it, that's what it is. They're like, oh man, your life must have been crazy. I'm like, more sad. And that's everybody's case. It's more sad than crazy. Rarely do you get the rock star lifestyle, and you're like, damn, that dude was a rock star.
It seems like a lot of downs.
Yeah, it's a lot of downs.
Not so many ups.
Yeah.
You know?
But people think it's wild. Like if you ever hear Young Miles' story over
You
there,
have-
you're like, that's wild, and
You
it's like
guys
it's
have
more
families.
sad.
No, but you guys have families, though.
Yeah,
You
we
know
do.
what I'm saying? Like, even like, all right, a child molester's on another level, right? But even when that show came out, that's why I love that fuck Chris Hansen is going down. He did some foul shit. Fuck him. Because when that show came out, To Catch a Predator, like, you're not just putting that dude on national, like, you know, that dude is, if he's a criminal, right, deserves a day in court, and you know, you're putting him on a court of America, like the jury's America. Think about the family has nothing to do with this. That everybody there is now stigmatized to. Dude, I hated that show.
Yeah.
And then one dude popped himself. He did something. He built
did.
somebody for some money or something.
Yeah, so he did tax fraud, and I was actually, when they dropped that news, I wrote a joke about it in stand up, and I was like, because it was your reaction someone gave. I was like, Chris Hansen's going to jail for tax fraud, and they're like,
Fuck him.
Good, fuck that motherfucker. And
Yep.
I was like, yeah, but I feel like, you know, part of him's the hero here. Like,
No, fuck him.
they're
And
like
also-
that. No, what they said was that's karma, and I said, well, he was stopping people from fucking kids. He was just fucking.
He could
Uncle
have just
Sam.
told the cops that and not make it entertainment.
True.
And so this
true.
where
I never
fuck
thought
him.
about
Like, he
that.
sold ads, bro.
Yeah.
And put a lot of money in his pocket
Yeah.
at the misery of a lot of people. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not with that. And at the end of the day, the show was invented by Cameron, who like had like a viral video talking about, you know what I'm gonna do, and like came up with the idea
Yeah.
for this, except where he would get violent instead of like bringing the authorities. And then shortly after, you
Chris
know,
Hansen rolls
yeah,
him.
and then his brother became the what's the NFL network? Red Zone. His
Yeah.
brother's the Red Zone guy. So they, you know, both of them.
That's his
popped up.
brother?
Yeah.
Where do you think he goes to the toilet during those games? You think he just holds it the whole time?
I think he makes sure not to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's
Kind
there
of like
all
he's
day.
running like a marathon, like a super marathon.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to poop your pants like in the middle of what you do.
My one buddy brings it up every season. He's like, when do you think he goes to the bathroom? I'm like, I don't know.
They don't really do breaks.
They don't. That's why he's like, I'm just enamored by it.
You know what? At the end, after like the West Coast games, there's a little time maybe before like or does it cut off right there? It don't do the late.
I don't know.
night
I
games.
think there's like little cutoffs if he has to pee. Like they go like, here's a...
After I got shot, I stopped caring about sports so
Yeah.
much because like no one wrote me get better. Like my fantasy rap team needs you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I remember how much I would care about these athletes
Yeah,
and
they
their
don't care
lives.
about us.
Now look, when the Birds won the Super Bowl, I was all in. Don't get me wrong. But like when things are bad, I don't have to be all in. That's
Yeah.
why the Sixers shit hurts because like couple. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Whereas with the Phils that they blow, whew, just no sweat off my back.
I'm still pulling for Red October because I'm just a fucking
I,
child.
want to see the Phils win.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. But like I'm
I
not
live in La
watching
La
the
Land.
games.
Yeah.
The Eagles are a whole different thing. Like
The Eagles.
The Eagles.
That was very neasty of you.
You gotta. I didn't know that. That's how, like, you know, I'm an immigrant kid, so like
Yeah.
my parents don't talk like that. So when I went to judge, he'd be like the Eagles, and I'd be like the Eagles.
Yeah, am I
You
saying
know?
it wrong? Did I
Yeah.
not learn English right?
And they'd be like the crick. I'd be like creek, 2 E's.
Yeah, I'm
You
a
know?
creek guy. I'm not a crick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who believes that the crick is a smaller creek. He's like, you know, there's a creek, which is like this is a Delco dude. So you know,
Yeah.
part
Fucking Delco, dude.
dude. Yeah, when they go down a
Just
creek.
want to see my daughter.
When they but yeah, the crick and the creek. Does anybody else say crick but us? Just us, right?
I say creek. I'm a creek guy myself,
Me too. I'm a creek guy.
but I switch it up sometimes. When
I don't.
I'm
Really,
with
I
the
only
crick.
say crick to Neasters and Delkites.
Yeah, you gotta.
You know.
You gotta. I watched that Mayor of Easton show.
I haven't seen it. Good.
So Delco.
Really?
She's like, go fucking Wawa, get an Oogie.
Yeah.
Fascinating accent,
Yeah.
which people say I have
A,
sometimes.
a bit. I'm not gonna lie. Like
Yeah.
right now we're talking. I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah.
Watching you, you know, through a little
When
phone.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I've gotten that you're Philadelphia garbage, and I'm like, okay.
But look, I love to hear it.
Yeah.
You know.
But a lot of my Neasty friends, and I've talked about it on here, are just very territorial. They're like, you're from Ben Salem, though.
Whatever.
Say that. And I'm like, I'll say that when I'm somewhere else.
Do you say use?
Yeah, sometimes.
See, I don't like use.
You know what's a big one we do that we never even notice? Across the street. We put a T at the end of a cross.
Really?
Yeah. You probably do it yourself.
Cross
And you
street?
Yeah.
Cross the street? Maybe.
Yeah.
I like
Now it's gonna-
attitude is a very attitude, bro. That's like because I don't say that. I don't say that, right? So like it hits me like a ton of bricks, you know. And like I'd be in grade school, you know, some local teacher, she'd be like, "Fazos, you better fix your attitude," you know,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, "Attitude," you know. The other thing we do is like put spaces between things. So like Alani, it's not Alani. Acme. I used to have a neighbor. I couldn't stop calling her Ashley.
It's always been Acme for me.
Acme,
Yeah.
but like Acme, I didn't do that, and
Yeah.
Alani, I didn't. But her Ashley, as a little kid,
Yeah.
she gets Ashley. It's 2 syllables.
Alani's where my mom grew up.
I'm like where I'm from is not far from there.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Oxford Circle, pretty much.
Yeah, she went to St. Helena's the whole yard.
I'm familiar a little bit,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to St. Joseph's, this weird Yuki school.
Nice. Fun times.
Yeah, it's now like a charter school.
I think we breezed over you getting shot.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
we were going to start this off with, because
Yeah,
before
yeah.
the camera rolled, I was like, can we talk about you getting shot? And you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, man. I got shot after going to a job interview.
Where was the job interview?
So I used to work at this place. I used to work there with Burke the Jerk, my man Diggs, who's a Neasty legend as well, and a couple other people. And it was like telemarketing kind of, but like loans and like serious financial stuff. So it was okay, Brad. And I was working at this Russian shower door place in Warminster called Dreamline, where they're really, really nice people, but they were paying me dog meat, you know?
Yeah.
Great people, good benefits, but like real bad pay, you know? So I went to go interview back at this place I used to work. And so I went there, did my thing, came home, did some extracurricular activities, came home, it's about 9 o'clock, and I get dropped off on Loretto. And McGee is my intersection. So I live on McGee, and on Loretto, my friend had his car. There were no other spots. He moved his car. I got in the spot. I had a rental car. So my piece of shit Cadillac, and I'll never buy American again, ever, was in the shop. So I had a Ford Fiesta, and I couldn't figure out how to turn off the dome light, if I'm being honest.
Right.
Like I looked like a slow person, back and forth
just-
to the back of the car. No, like pressing buttons,
Yeah.
going back. So there must have been 10 minutes of this. So I guess during this 10 minutes of this, I must have looked like food to somebody. So like I finally figured out how to turn off the dome light. For whatever reason, I don't go in front of the car, which is right into the drive. I go behind the car. So when I go behind the car, somebody steps up to me like, "Oh, you got any weed?" And I'm like, "Fuck, shit, I'm getting robbed. Like this
Yeah.
is not my first rodeo." And I'm like, "Nah, bud." And then I just felt a gun go to my head, you know? I look, I see a gun. I was like, well, this isn't the normal rodeo, you know? And I'm just dejected. Like, I'm not scared. I'm not upset. I'm like, what the fuck? I have some cash in my pocket, you know? So I'm more like, can we get this over with than anything? So very quickly, my hat gets pulled over. It's the only Neff thing I've ever owned. I don't think I'll ever own any Neff thing.
That's your PTSD of the whole thing? It's
Oh.
like, I'm never wearing Neff again.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking got shot over.
I did buy another North Face, though, you know? Anyway.
Ah, well, that's nice stuff. dude.
Yeah, I love that North Face. I got it back from the cops after they kept it as evidence forever. They
Is it
kept
hanging
it.
up in your wall?
I finally retired it.
Yeah.
I shot a video and retired it, and then that video, all the footage was lost.
Oh,
But yeah, so I got to reshoot that hopefully this month with Jimmy G. Shouts to Jimmy G.
Jimmy
But,
G, what's up, buddy?
But yeah, so they pull my hat down. I get on the ground. It's snowing. It's February. You know what I mean? They run my pockets, get what they want. At some point, they ask me to look in the car for something. They even get something out of my car, you know? And I'm just like, all right, when is this over? Like, I just lost a bunch of money, you know? I need to properly medicate, you know, these feelings away. And I just hear boom, you know? And I jump up. Well, first I looked to see where they were, like on the ground, and they went this way, down Loretto. So I jumped up and went right into the alleyway, you know? I just heard one big boom. I'm like, it must have been shooting in the air, I guess, whatever. So I start, you know, hauling ass a bit. And I realize they're not coming after me, so I start walking, and I start feeling this, like, slight burning, like someone ashed a cigarette in my lap, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I open up the North Face, and I just see blood, you know? So I'm like, well, that's what happened, you know? I guess they shot me. At that very moment,
Before they ran, they shot you?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, we'll get into the specifics
Okay.
and the trajectories.
But I got a flow chart. I'm curious.
in this moment, in my misfortune, I was very fortunate. My friend Nelson, his parents, now he's not with us anymore. His parents had just pulled up. So I couldn't get into my phone because of the snow. It was wet. I couldn't dial 911 myself.
Right.
So Mr. and Mrs. Gonzalez, one of them called my parents, which are like 3 doors down, and the other one called the cops. And the cops showed up there like that, you know. And that's a little white privilege for you for sure. They came super, super fast.
Yeah.
I had to tell my
I
dad.
think
like,
the cops asked on the phone, be like, someone got shot, and they're like, is he white?
I think.
Yeah.
I think they were like,
hold up, we'll
I think
be
they were
right
like
there.
large white male, and they were there
Yeah.
in 2 seconds. But my dad's like, what happened? And I'm like, I got shot. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, I've been shot. He's like, what happened? Like, it was not
I don't know
going
how much
through.
more you want to know.
No, he had like a mental break, and I was
okay.
like, gun, pew pew, me, you know. And I opened the coat, it showed him the blood, and I think that's when it hit him.
Yeah.
And at this point, like I said, very quickly, bright lights show up. You know what I mean? They have me get into an SUV, have me get out of the SUV. At this point, like I'm an acrobat. I don't even know what's going on physically, you know. But I'm very lucid, calm, the whole nine, and I'm not in pain at all. I don't feel anything. So they take me to a second cop car. I get in this second cop car. I'm like, all right, they're taking me to trauma. Let's go to Temple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, they take me to Area Torresdale. You know, and like midway,
Not the first choice.
no, and midway through this thing, it starts hurting.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even know what's happened yet, but
Probably because they make you move from car to car for some
they're
reason after
driving,
being shot.
they're driving fast too.
Yeah.
Like they're on the go to get me there. So you know, much shouts to them. You know, and they whipped me there as soon as possible. I got there. I'm telling the whole story. Like they don't even have to talk. I'm like explaining everything. You know. They cut my jeans off me, and then like they roll me to a side. Like, all right, you're gonna expect a little bit of pressure, and then the fucking nurse fingers me in the ass. You know, I told the male nurse, I was like, yo, that was worse than getting shot. You know, he starts dying laughing. I didn't necessarily think it was that funny. Like I was halfway being serious, but he starts dying laughing. You know, and then I didn't like they didn't see any bullets in the X-ray, so.
For the record, some people are into that.
Yeah, so they just roll me to the operating room. I'm not even sure why. And the last thing, I think they were gassing me. The last thing I remember is they smacked me into a wall before like getting into the operating room. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is some shoddy service. You know, get me in there. I wake up. Now I got a zipper like this big. Like basically across the whole Habs logo here, I have staples. So I got a huge zipper. And I am still on drugs. So when I wake up, I have a trach in my throat. I try and rip it out. Yeah. Like I'm trying to get off this bed at all costs. And they had to like put me back under. I wake up the next day and my throat hurt worse than that from like trying to rip out the trach. That's when Uncle Jeff came and visited me.
He did.
A couple days later. Like it snowed that day, so nobody else came. There were like a lot of people actually for a couple days.
Yeah.
Uncle Jeff came, brought me a coloring book, which I still have.
Nice, dude.
He's a good man. He's a good man.
He is a great man.
But apparently, what I found out, so one of the bullets, so the bullets crucified me. Cambada told me that, which gave my God complex even crazier rush, you know, the Jesus Christ pose. So one bullet had to go parallel with the ground somehow. So I'm thinking it came down, ricocheted, goes parallel with the ground, goes in and out, goes in like my left upper butt cheek, if you will.
Okay.
Pops out my left ribs over here, you know?
Okay.
Then the other bullet went straight down, goes in and out of my left leg and down my right leg for a gash. So there's a hole on each side for my left leg, but all that was superficial. All of the wounds are nothing. Like if I lift both arms up, this thing hangs a little bit more, but like knock on wood, the surgeons did the most damage to me. You know, after having that zipper, I had a weak abdominal wall for being a fat piece of shit for so long that I went to see Stitches, the terrible rapper. Are you familiar with?
I'm familiar.
But he's Greek, so I'm like, yo, rep for the home team, you know? And I'm drinking a beer with Ethan from Marston House, and I felt a hernia happen, you know? So recently I lost a bunch of weight, had another surgery, got the hernias out, you know? He took out a lot of scars in my zipper, you know what I mean? And now I have another hernia because of some transvaginal mesh lawsuit. Like they just make bad fucking hernia shit.
Yeah.
So all the bad things that happened to me after the shooting physically were all stemmed from the surgical parts of it.
Yeah.
But mentally, I thought I was at first like Superman, Cloud 9, you know? And like my doc now doesn't call it PTSD, she calls it something else. But trauma is definitely in there, right? And like that shit was like a termite infestation into the foundations of like who I was, you know?
Yeah. Did this happen after you were seeing therapy?
Oh, no, therapy began after getting shot.
Oh, okay.
Significant, like I would say.
Because I thought for a second you
I
were
would say
therapist.
A year after getting shot, I started therapy. I should have started therapy right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Some might say.
I think, I come from a really masculine culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like boys don't cry type shit. So, and then there's some other glorious parts to this. Northeast Victim Services wouldn't deal with me because there was a smell of marijuana around my car, and they were like, because you use drugs, we won't help you.
True.
As a victim of a shooting by two people who they don't like, you know what I mean? I really did do my best to help the fucking cops, which did not make me feel great in some ways. But in other ways, I was like, these motherfuckers just shot me for no reason, execution style. Right? No, never caught him. Okay. They're going to do this to somebody else. Like, somebody's going to die. Like, I'm lucky I'm not dead. Somebody's going to fucking die. And, like, the cops, in the Northeast Detectives Unit at the time, they didn't do fucking much at all, But I did get that fucking North Face back.
Yeah, you got the North Face back, which is the most important part of the story.
I got everything else back except for the jeans that they cut off. Yeah. I got the Timbs. I would wear the Timbs for a while. And that's just some bad juju. That's another thing I learned.
You're just walking around in the stuff you got shot in.
Super masculine, you know what I'm saying? No, that's bad juju. Like,
I would tell people all the time I got fucking shot.
Yeah, it helped me.
I don't know how often you tell people.
I mean, it helped me at first.
Yeah.
Because
got that street cred up.
Not only that, but it made me feel good that I had survived it, But now, not that I'm ashamed of it, but I don't bring it up as much. But as you can see, I talk about it very, very easily. And I don't have a problem talking about it.
Well, when I bought up, I asked both these two gentlemen, Corey and Miles, I was like, you think, because you started following me, I think after Miles did an episode, and you were just showing me love, and I was like, would he be good for this? And they were like, he'd be phenomenal for this?
Def.
Then I forget, I think Miles was like, he got shot before. And
here's the thing, you got enough, you got enough as a host to keep me in line. Because, what you don't want to do is let me take, you know what I mean? So you're just, guiding the bull. You let me run for a little, and then you're like, all right, let's go over here for a bit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I try my best.
Whereas, I've been on other podcasts where it's just I could do my thing.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily good. I love the sound of my own voice.
It depends on the person, to be honest with you. Because I have some people who just, and it's all my friends. I love all the people who have come on this, but it's just all right, I got to do a lot of talking now. And I'm like, you guys want to talk about food again? And Davron rolls his eyes every week. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ, you talk about food every week. And I'm like, I don't know, people like that shit.
Quick plug, I just got my song Food back on YouTube, so if you guys have never seen it, you should go check that out. It was a motherfucker to find it.
Yeah.
Actually, not true. I just talked to the right guy at the right time, and in 10 minutes I had it.
How'd you get it back? Because we lost one too when that happened.
So 6'6" did the same thing. So 6'6", who had the video and was hosting it, he had to take it down because this shit got compromised. He went into this webarchive.org thing, and he couldn't find it. And if I went in there loosely, I couldn't find it. My friend Will, who works with me, the IT guy, he found it in literally 10 minutes. Had me with a link, and I was like, dude, can you make it a file for me? He's like, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Made the file, sent it over, And
if you could do that, I'll give him a couple bucks.
I'll see what can happen.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
The web is a deep, dark place.
We'll have his people call your people, man. We'll get it working, dude.
My friends can call your friends.
Yeah. I like how instantly when Miles asked that, I said, we'll see, like I have anything to do. I'm like, I got this, guys.
You have more, I think you have more sway than you know at this point.
I really don't.
Although I do love Miles. He does call me his oldest friend, and while that's not exactly true, it is really kind of true.
Friend I still have.
True.
Still have.
Yeah. We've been friends long. Dude, we're old. You were young.
You never turn your back, dude.
No.
So you were shot 3 times. Is that correct? Twice.
But
okay.
I have 5 wounds.
Okay. How many times was 50 shot? And do you ever wish you got shot more as a rapper?
Because people started calling me I think one shooting is the minimum amount to have been shot.
Yeah.
And the cred may increase with multiple times, but it's the law of diminishing returns.
Yeah.
So you're already G'd up to this level. Like the next shooting,
right.
It's not going to double. You know what I mean? So people started calling me Vospak. King Magnetic to this day calls me 40 pesos instead of 50 cent. Like if you look, if I ever do something and he comments, Magnetic will just drop pesos, and this is an inside joke between us, So
Jason Fast, man.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He's also the worst.
Yeah.
You could say it to his face though, so that's why it's fine because he's wild nice.
Mark does a lot of bass lines for him, so
he's wild nice on the mic and making beats and all that shit for sure.
Yeah, I've tugged along to a couple studio sessions with Mark because Mark used to rap, and then they did a song together. Then Mark just does bass lines for him.
Nice.
Yeah,
they're probably dope bass lines though.
Great bass player, man.
Yeah, for sure.
He's top tier when his hands worked.
Yeah, that's
he's still very good.
You know how sad that makes me?
Yeah, he's still very good. Don't let it fool you.
But he can't do
unleash
Yeah,
Unleash
and like
the
play
demon,
live
dude.
like regularly.
Yeah.
You know, that's so sad.
Well, he was in a hardcore band that he got kicked out of. He was playing bass in that.
Hardcore bands, like we said earlier, it's a tough scene.
It is a tough scene.
It's a tough scene, and it's a lot easier than it used to be, from what I understand.
Yeah.
Like before our
a lot
time,
of them just make metal music and they're like, we're a hardcore band.
No, I
which-
think before our time, it was literally a lot of neo-Nazi strappers.
Yeah.
Just people you don't even want to hang with, and now
Yeah.
you're like lumped in with them.
Well, and a lot of it comes of just like old dated terminology, like
No, not the skinhead thing.
yeah, because that's where I was
skinhead
going to go
thing-
with it. A
the
lot of people are
skinhead
like
thing I know.
skinhead, dude. I'm like, you know, a lot of skinheads are black. I'm
Black-
friends with like 5
I think the black skinheads were first, correct?
Yeah.
In England.
So they're called sharps,
Okay.
I believe. I could be wrong.
I thought it was because they cut the dreads, or dreads is even like what they don't.
Well, I think sharp stands for skinhead or something
skinhead against
racial prejudice.
Okay.
I think so.
But like the Jamaican and the black people over there, they would have like dreaded hair.
Yeah.
And when a fight, that's bad news. So they just started going skinhead, and that's where I think it began.
Right.
Now I could be completely making that up.
Yeah,
but
because
that's
I
what
remember
was
when all the George Floyd stuff happened, like Proud Boys became popular, which was like a very punk rock term. You know what I mean? Like I knew what one was, and I used to do a joke because on the special I wore a Fred Perry polo, and like
that's like
yeah, and one person was like, "What, you a Proud Boy?" I'm like, "Well, they wear black and gold ones. It's a very specific one they wear."
Fred Perry stopped making them.
The
Fred
black
Perry
and gold
stopped
ones.
making.
Yeah, he still makes clothes. Yeah,
for sure. Fred Perry's a big deal in that scene, though.
Yeah,
It
is. So
and more in Europe than here. Like
Yeah.
people know Fred Perry more.
Well, I got
over
my
there.
first one in Europe.
Yeah.
My parents were in Ireland.
Yeah,
They
and
picked
like
me up
it's an
one.
English brand, I take it, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So-
And it's just a solid polo. Like I'm a polo guy. Like I like.
Yeah.
But like the Fred Perry's a great polo.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like the
very-
wreath too.
I'm very like I do like Fred Perry. I don't wear polos often, but I have a couple of them. They're very expensive, which is fucking annoying.
I work in an office, so I wear a polo every day, like
True.
during normal time. And if it came to like buying polo online, I'm like Michael Phelps, bro. I don't miss like
Yeah.
20, $30.
I do Macari a lot.
See,
Because I'm a big Nike sneaker guy, but I'm not like crazy like, oh, did you see the off-whites dropped? I know about all that stuff.
once the internet took over, I got out of sneakers. So I used to camp out for sneakers. That's why I
Yeah.
bought that North Face. In all seriousness, I used to
Yeah.
camp out in it, and I would hit sometimes too. I'd bring somebody with me. We'd hit
Yeah.
2 pairs of sneakers. So right now in COVID, I was sitting on like 40, 50 dead stock pairs of sneakers that are 8, 9, 10 years old. So I just been selling them all.
Yeah.
Shouts
What
to
size
Suplex.
are they?
They're all Suplex now, 11 and a half, 12.
Oh, I'm a 10.5.
Now I'm a 10 and a half
Shout
because
out
I lost some
Suplex.
weight. Fucking love Suplex.
Great guys.
Fucking love
I was
those
supposed to have
guys.
Mike on here, and he's
You
a
should.
busy guy.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. I hit him up, and it's like, dude, anybody with like a certain amount of, I don't even know what his followers are. I don't even know, but it's like someone who does
Well, he
stuff
don't
all
respond.
the time. Social media. Like, I
He
don't
don't-
think he blew me off at
No,
all in the
he
slightest,
really
but I'm
just
like,
doesn't-
he's just one of those guys. Because, like,
You might want to take this on the road. Just go to him.
we don't take this on the road, dude. They come
All
to
right.
us.
All right.
They come to us, dude.
I understand.
It's not really my call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's lugging all this stuff somewhere.
And this is not cheap stuff.
Yeah.
It's
And
not.
And I'm not that big of a help, believe it or not.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, okay. As long as you get that vibe from me.
It all comes back to Naruto. Believe it.
Yeah, believe
But
that
also,
shit.
the only reason I don't have a podcast because I'm like you. Like, if I'm the fucking talent,
Yeah.
like I don't want to like setting up shit. I'd be better than you at for sure. But like, I don't want to edit. I don't want to. Like, and now like it's finally coming to me that I'm gonna. If I ever want to do any of this, I'm gonna have to do it. So like I'm making hardware considerations and shit. I like your style with that though. you know?
Well, Davron is literally one of the biggest blessings in my life.
You're very
does a
lucky,
great
and you
job.
stole him off that other kid.
Who, Mark?
No, what's his name? Well, the Wizard podcast. I watched some of that.
Brendan?
Yeah,
He's great.
Yeah, you stole him off of
I
Brendan.
ganked him.
Yeah.
Well,
Yo, you told him to your face. Like, that exchange was so nice to you. Like, yeah, you're beat. And he's
Yeah.
like, kind of beat.
well,
He looked at Davron with ice eyes and then another eyes of, like, lust and then the heartbroken ones finally.
So Brendan was at the filming for my special, and he just did a movie with Davron. Davron has a horror
Nice.
movie called
Nice.
The Night They Knocked.
Okay.
On Amazon, not on Amazon Prime. I think it's on.
on there, but
Yeah, it's on there.
it's better.
Butler was watching it today.
Oh, so I can
On it.
YouTube it.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah. So I show up to do the special, and when I did that 6 months into comedy, I'm just meeting a lot of these local stand-up comedians, and I
Yeah.
like met Brendan a couple times, and he's like, how'd you get Davron to do this? I'm like, first off, how the fuck do you know
that?
that?
Yeah.
And he was like, I was in his movie. I was like, oh, no fuck, because I knew about the movie. Yeah. But,
Look at you guys doing stuff. I wish I
yeah.
did stuff.
But it all came from Mark.
I know, we need to do some stuff, bro.
It all came from Mark owning a vape shop. This is how it all started. 'Cause
Okay.
That's how I met Mark. I tried vaping, and me and Mark just became buds.
you should go back to vaping.
Yeah, I can.
Nah, man, be a vapist.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a vapist. I don't know.
Here's the
I
thing.
think my next thing is to just quit. I don't think I'll vape.
Yeah, but
it's just going to be I'm done.
But like, you don't want to do that today.
No,
But today you can make a decision. Like, I'm smoking bug. It's bad news.
yeah, it's bad.
But like, I'm with you. I say the same exact shit.
is
Like,
bad.
who am I even kidding? Like, I'm
Yeah,
just fucking.
he's looking
cold
over,
turkey.
disapproving. He's like, they're talking about how bad smoking is. I told
Bad.
these motherfuckers.
Really bad. They're real
Yeah.
bad.
Okay,
Bad.
don't act high and mighty, dude. Been off him for 2 weeks. Disgusting, dude.
2 years, dude.
2 years. Get
Good
out
for
of here,
fucking
dude.
him. I'm not gonna lie. Like that's fucking good.
I thought it was a lot shorter.
No,
of a
no,
time
he
than
got
it
you. He
was.
kicked
Yeah.
you right in the dick.
He did.
He
did.
kicked you right in the old.
My mom,
cockney.
my mom chumped him before.
So your mom's Argentinian,
She's
Italian.
They moved to Argentina.
Does she have a
because of
wild
World War
Italian
II.
accent though?
No. Who doesn't know what World War II is? Yeah. I don't know enough about World War II.
My dad was born in a Nazi-occupied house during World War II in Greece. No
Yeah.
bullshit.
So my grandpa was a medic in the Italian army.
Yeah, I heard you discuss that.
Yeah.
The wrong
'Cause-
side.
Yeah, wrong side. So
Today I asked my dad like, who you rooting for? Because Italy's playing Spain.
Yeah.
And he's like, our cousins probably, the Italians, And I'm like, yeah, but they got the two blemishes.
Yeah.
Like, let's not even go to the old stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I know.
Blemishes.
I know.
Yeah, they're on tonight. I think Argentina's on tonight too.
There's
For
like,
the Copa.
there's Greek songs that make fun of Mussolini and stuff that are just, my mom, whenever she's mad at my dad, she'll call him Benito. She'll be like, where you at, Benito? I think that's so funny.
Dude, I like what the Greeks are doing, dude.
Yeah, we fought the Italians with pots and pans.
Yeah, true. Someone
It's
had to, yeah.
because they don't really want to fight though.
Nah.
Just like the Greeks, they want to take a nap at 1 o'clock on a hot day and go back to work at 4.
If my grandpop was still alive, he was a very interesting guy though, because like he claims and like who knows, dude, it might be true, but he was like dude. The second he came to America, he was American. You know what I mean?
That's an Italian thing.
Yeah.
though. That is an Italian thing.
Like that comedian Sebastian Maniscalco, when he starts talking about like certain things, like doing antifreeze on like the garden vegetable, it's like that's all stuff my grandpa did. You know what
The
I mean?
Greek people, the moment they got here, just wanted to retain their Greek. It's like a
Yeah,
weird
You guys,
split.
hold on. We're gonna open up a couple diners, and
We're
we
gonna
are gonna
teach-
die by this sword.
I don't know. I know 2-3 Italians who speak Italian.
Yeah.
I know most Greek people I know who are like first generation like that. Some even second, they can speak
Yeah.
a little Greek.
Yeah, my mom does Spanish and Italian.
That's pretty.
She doesn't
cool.
use it anymore though, because my grandmom died in the beginning of the pandemic. So that
That's
was like
sad.
the last chance. Sometimes they talk to like the cousins or stuff.
She don't watch like media in like Spanish or Italian.
No, not really.
She don't do like soap operas, like them scandalous Spanish
No,
Johns.
She could
Where, like,
telenovelas.
Yeah, where they're like
Yeah.
65 years old, but
And
they still look like Sofia
One of the most
Vergara.
annoying things in my life is she was going to teach me and my brothers, but she couldn't teach my dad. And I was like, I think it's easier to teach a baby 2 languages than to,
I learned Greek first.
Yeah.
It was real easy.
I would like to have, like, my Spanish is not good at
Mine
all.
isn't good. 4 years at Judge, Spanish trash.
Yeah, but growing up with it, having a grandmom who doesn't speak any English, like, the only English phrase she knew was, like, get a job with computers. And I'm like, I don't know how to
You
work
should do
computers.
Olingo. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah, I was doing like Babelfish or something for a
Same
little bit.
shit.
One of
Yeah,
those.
same
Yeah, I was
shit.
doing it for like a week. But reading it and stuff, like I can put together the words if I see it. But I'm just like, I need something to have me.
You need conversational
Yeah, I
Spanish.
need conversational. Yeah, that's what I need. So I try with the cooks at work, but they just talk shit. And I'm
It's
like, oh,
different
whatever.
with them. They're
Yeah.
not going to hit you with like
Well,
actual.
it's all different dialects too. Like my
Oh, yeah.
mom's dialect is like literally a mash of like Italian and Spanish,
I bet.
and just broken Spanish at that.
Sure.
too.
And
So
I'm
there's,
sure your cooks are mostly Central or
like
Mexican.
Ecuadorian and shit or something. I
Yeah,
don't
so
even
like
know.
actually, my cousins are from their mom's from Ecuador.
Oh, okay.
She's a cool lady.
Yeah.
She's just up here from Florida.
Oh, nice.
But like
Get away.
usually, like my cooks are mostly Mexican, sometimes Guatemalan. When I had a pizza store,
Yeah.
and they told me only the filth, only like pure filth, and then they would call
I
me.
feel like Greeks make better pizza, dude. That might be controversial.
We run a better bit. I don't think we make better pizza. We might
Yeah.
make better other stuff.
The place I order from is Greek. I don't order from them anymore. They kind of fell off.
What's it called? Do you want to say?
Yeah, I'll say it. It's called New Friends, Old Friends.
New friends.
Our old friends, I forget. It's
Somewhere
in
around here?
Salem.
Oh, in the
Yeah.
Salem.
Yeah, in the Salem. But I go to a place next door now called Old Romans because they do pan pizza, like the thicker
Do you like?
one.
See, I don't. That's a Greek thing.
What, pan pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
they don't do the pan pizza where I used to order from.
Yeah, I
They
don't
do-
like pan pizza
Yeah, I
like
like
that.
pan
But like,
pizza.
it's a very like Greek pan. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Not that like I didn't do pan pizza when I had a pizza shop, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying all, but like, if it's pan, it's probably Greek.
Yeah.
I think that's like a Boston thing actually.
Is it?
It makes things easier to prep. You just put the dough, in the pan already, pop it
Yeah.
out.
And it's out.
It's
I just
out.
like the thicker, real buttery.
The crust is way greasy. You call
Yeah.
it buttery.
Yeah.
I call it like grease. I don't exactly like it.
Listen, like I said before, this ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I love living in my ignorant world
Yeah.
where everything's all right. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if people talk politics to me, my key response usually most of the time is, "We got to save those kids,"
It's not
which is
bad.
very neutral on
Well,
both
it
sides.
blows,
and people
though.
are like, "You're right. We
But
do need to save
politics
those
blows.
kids."
Though.
Yeah, it does.
It
It sucks.
blows,
Terrible.
bro. Blows.
It's terrible.
Fucking hate it. And as a liberal, like for me, I end up hating everybody.
Yeah.
I hate the people on my side, but not as much as I hate. And now I feel like I'm divided. I just want to be
Yeah.
friends. I just want to be fucking friends.
That's all I want to do.
You know.
Yeah.
It's really comes down to that. And now, people in their own family don't even talk and shit. You know.
Well, that's like one thing that I always get at, like with political tensions, like liberals at some point, like it's switched. Like when I was growing up, like conservatives were like stuck up, and now it's like liberals are kind of like, we're offended over
Bro,
everything.
as a conspiracy theory bull,
Yeah, you
when
are
the
that
conspiracy theory shark jumped from the liberal side to the like my whole world turned upside down.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, the fucking hillbillies are under the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I was like, these are the people. I'm like, no, bro,
Yeah.
what is going on? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's why it's tough.
It went from 9/11 is like, and these are the people who won't admit 9/11's an inside job. Like my generation, super conspiracy theory that started me on this whole fucking
And listen,
journey.
you know what I got to say to that, man? We got to save these kids, dude. And that's just where it's at.
I love it.
That's always a
That's
good one, dude.
fucking great.
Yeah. If you come up to me and you're like, the election was rigged, I'm like, we got to save these kids, though. Like, you can't argue that fact because
No.
we do, in fact, have
Nah,
to
but
save
some people
these
say
kids.
fuck them damn kids.
Yeah, but fuck them kids at the same time.
Nah, I
too,
don't
dude.
know.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
For real, though.
They didn't ask to be here.
Yeah, true. We got to save them, dude. And that's
Yeah,
just the bottom line.
yeah. Save the kids.
One of the things I get, like, being in the comedy thing, like, bar regulars come in and they're always like, oh, what's your stuff like? And I'm like, it's like Seinfeld, but about heroin. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Train spotting.
Yeah. I'm like, what's the deal with heroin? It's killing
But
all
here's
my
the thing,
friends.
like, I
But
used
they're
to-
always like, aren't you scared because of political thing? I'm like, I stay away from politics and that shit. In fact, I'm probably going to start using that as a bit, the save the kids thing, because I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's how little I know
Bro,
or
just
care.
stay, like, nobody needs to, like, we're way too into each other's politics. You know what I mean? Just leave it the fuck
People
alone.
care all of a sudden, which is a problem. I'm not saying caring's bad,
Look,
but
I don't know how old you are, and I'm not trying to date you. but
32.
Okay, so I'm
Okay.
older than you. So we grew up in the 90s, though, for the most
Yeah.
part. Mm-hmm. We come from the not give a fuck slacker generation. Like, we're trying sucked. You know what I mean? Bukowski's my hero,
Yeah.
on his fucking... Yeah, it says "Don't try" on his tombstone. Like, that's my shit right there.
dude, see, I didn't know that, and that's my life motto, dude.
Bro, me too. But let me tell you, like, at 36, I found out that effort is actually cool. For the first time, I'm like, I'm going to try and do some things. So, like, I went and I'm almost on a master's degree.
Oh, God bless.
You know what I'm saying?
Smart motherfucker.
Even if that thing is worthless, it changed, like, trying.
Yeah.
Even muddling through, like, One Punch Man. It's a great thing I learned from One Punch Man.
One Punch Man's the best shit
You just
ever,
got to
dude.
muddle through sometimes. And, like,
Yeah.
you always want to be a fucking perfectionist. You always want to, like, especially, like, we were just talking about, like, I put out an album that I'm not necessarily always the proudest of. You have a special that you're, like, kind of looking at it like, maybe I'll take it down. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
only for
like-
the reason I was like, that's literally someone's first attempt at doing an hour. Never even tried, and it's filmed. Which I
Yeah.
think that is the cool part.
This
but
is what
it's,
I'm trying
yeah.
to say. Like, that's an amazing case study and what not to do, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Like, I thought it was, and I think you're pretty funny. Which, like, I don't, again, find most people who, and I like people's podcasts who aren't funny, but they're good podcast interviewers. But you
Yeah.
had a little bit of both, which was,
Well, I think that's people's big anxiety coming to do this because, like, a couple people be like, I'm not funny. And I'm like, it's not.
necessarily.
I'm like, I don't
about
even
that.
try to shoot for this to be a comedy podcast. Like, it's great if it is funny, but it's just more the conversation.
I just like a pop in any conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just like a cheap pop.
Yeah.
So, like, but, like, a good conversation should be like heavy in the middle. You know what I mean? You should have your ups, your downs, maybe some tears, but not necessarily.
A couple
you know?
gunshots.
Well, you're a Flyers fan, right? You like the Flyers?
Yeah,
You should
I
have some tears.
stay pretty Philadelphia and all that.
They're the only one I don't root for.
Yeah.
Out of the big
I'm a
three.
big secondary team guy, though, but which would like a lot of Philly
Yeah.
people be like, can't do that.
What do you mean? I like the Raiders. I like the Spurs. I've liked the Celtics.
I like the Ravens a lot.
Yeah, but that's like our cousin, though.
Mostly because, they're our cousin.
Baltimore,
My favorite
Detroit.
podcast dude is a Baltimore dude, Ryan Sickler. Don't know if you're familiar with the honeydew. Got a huge honeydew tattoo on the side of my ribs.
No,
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And is he a comedian podcaster?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he his whole thing's like highlighting the low light. So it's kind of like if someone was real into podcasts and they're like, "What's your podcast like?" to me, I'm like, "It's like a knockoff honeydew."
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but not really. But
No.
kind of.
But I see what you're saying.
It's like he's a Maryland dude. He lives in L.A.
Crab,
now.
in a crab shack.
Crab Feast. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's his other one. Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah. Like we're over here in Philly. It's very similar.
Yeah.
But I like the
think
Ravens mostly because Ray Lewis murdered someone and got away with it. And
He
I'm like,
did not, but he didn't murder anybody.
In my head, he did.
He may or may not.
I don't care if he did either.
Allegedly.
Yeah, he allegedly.
May or may not have witnessed. At
Yeah.
no point do I necessarily think he was just like Michael Vick and the dogs. At no point was Michael Vick ever like actually hurting a dog himself. You know,
I was big when Vic came to the Eagles. Me and my
too.
buddy had a pack because he was a Raiders fan. Grew up here, but he's a Raiders fan.
I fuck with the Raiders.
And it's like right when he got out, I said wherever he goes, we get his jersey.
And he became a bird.
And I was like, even if he goes to the Eagles, he'll get his jersey. He's like, fuck yeah, I'll get his jersey. He's the man, dude.
That was a dividing line.
Then I wore it, and people were like, "How could you?" And I'm like, "Listen, there's bigger issues out here. We need to
Save the
these
kids.
Yeah, and
I was
they
about
get
to
it.
say, like, the Mike Vick shit is just like politics today. Then,
Yeah, and
like,
I'm a dog guy too.
that Mumia, like, there were things in Philadelphia that, like, instantly you would divide a crowd. You know what I mean? Depending on how you felt, or like if you wore a pro Mumia shirt, like you divided a crowd instantly. Same with the Vic jersey.
Yeah,
you know,
I had the Vic jersey. It was great. I had the black one.
I'd be like, how do you love dogs so much and yet hate black people so much? And they'd be like,
Yeah,
this is
that
not
really
racism.
gets them thinking,
and
yeah.
I'd be like, yes, the fuck it is.
This
Like,
is
how,
systemic racism.
how do
dude.
you not think this is like? Please explain to me how.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I understand the reason he got caught was because they were gambling and wrote the shit down, so the feds got involved, and that's what you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And these people did nothing good with dogs. Crime should have been, there's definitely crime. But what did Mike Vick really do besides own the house and kind of know what was going on? Like, he went to, prison, served his time, and people still wanted to crucify him after that,
That's one of the saddest scenes in The Wire when the dog gets got. Cheese's dog. Yeah. Big Wire guy. We talk about it.
I love The Wire,
Yeah.
but, like, I watched it in the Blitz, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime anybody tells me something's better than The Wire, I'm like, no.
Yeah. I wanted Method Man's part to be better because I'm such a huge Method Man fan.
Sure, but Cheese was great.
Cheese was great.
Have you ever seen Belly?
Years ago. Yeah.
His part's great in that, too.
Yeah. He's in my top 5. We were going to talk about that.
Let's do that.
What is your top 5?
All right, so the first, like, none of this has really changed.
I think I can give probably 3, so I don't even know.
5 is a revolving door, but
Yeah.
these are all the same since I was for 20 years, I'd say. These are probably all the same. So I'm fat. So Biggie, all right, he's 1. If I have to put it in order, Nas is 2, Eminem is 3, Big Pun is 4 because I'm fat. And then now 5 is like a revolving door. So like you said, Black Thought, and I should probably put him in there for Philadelphia.
Yeah. Also, Capital Punishment.
Yes, and one of the few that Pun would like that actually went toe to toe with Thought. Like nobody wanted to see him at that time. But Redman, huge influence.
Yeah, I do love Redman.
I like the older guys too, like KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, like all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Those are the breaks.
I love Styles P. I like Beanie. Like these guys are my guys. Pharoah
Yeah.
Monch, I think, is great. Big L, I think. These are like the people who are foundational. I think no matter when you're coming up, if you want to rap and you want to challenge yourself, those are kind of people you have to listen to.
Yeah.
Sean Price, that's like my rap dad.
Black Thought's like my number 1.
He's
And
so
Method
good.
Man's probably my 2 just because I'm biased to it.
Method Man's great. He's
Yeah.
not even, I don't think.
And I like Biggie a lot too. He might be number 3.
When I was a kid, we did like a bracket, like NCAA bracket. Method Man came out on top as the finest
Well,
MC.
my reasoning was I always thought Biggie was, if not one of the greatest ever. And if that was whoever his favorite guy was, has to be better than him, right?
Styles.
Yeah,
Styles'
well, he was a
favorite
big
rapper.
Method Man guy too.
You never heard that line? Styles P's like, Styles P, your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Yeah.
And that's like where that stems from. I don't know if you like the Locks. If you're a
it's
fan.
all right.
See,
I like Jada's laugh. That's the best shit.
I got to practice that. But yeah.
My favorite thing about Jadakiss was, and this was just something I thought was so funny, but like when people were making memes, like when fucking Blink-182 said, I guess this is growing up, I really felt that. I would just take any lyric from Why,
and just put.
and I'd be like, I really felt that. But like the real personal ones, when he's like, why'd he take his Jag and not his bike? And I'm like, I felt that when his boy died on the bike. And people are like, I don't get what you're talking about. I'm like, dude, that's so funny.
One of my favorite things is, have you ever seen Jadakiss with hair? He has the worst hairline, dude. It like comes to here.
Yeah.
Like his hair, and like I can understand why he has the baldy.
Yeah.
But like I've seen him with hair a couple times, and I think it's so funny. Also, this one artist, Frico Rico, you could buy it. He sells like a folded up Bounty paper towel, but it has like a really, you're buying like this drawing of Jadakiss, and it's just like the paper towel bandana.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that he actually, like him, Jewel, like these dudes would actually rock a paper towel as a bandana.
Yeah, I love hip hop, man.
Yeah, you have to have some cojones to like rock a crisp Bounty paper towel
Yeah, you really do.
with a icy white tee and those white on white Air Force Ones.
True.
And you know it works. How do you have the confidence?
Dude, I have no idea.
Rappers have confidence.
They
bro.
do. My buddy Naeem, who obviously you figured out, is
Sure.
black.
Oh, of
dude.
course, I got you.
He was like, you dress like a black motherfucker. Because I'm always like, I'm wearing black right now, but like, I wear like a lot of lavenders and purples.
Oh shit.
And oranges. I like
Yeah.
bright colors.
Yeah, I just recently.
Mostly because I go to so many hardcore shows and I'm not a fan. And I'm like, what's the opposite of what these fucking people are wearing?
You're trying to get beat up.
Nah.
Yeah, dude, they're not always nice people.
Common
Especially the sober ones.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, why are sober hardcore people jerk jobs?
I don't know. I go, but they just know.
sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, why would
See,
you
I
just
show
beat
up to
somebody
these
up for
things-
drinking? Like, life sucks to them. They're drinking a little bit. I don't know if that's a Philly thing, but like I heard Cleveland and
Yeah.
Boston, those
I
actually
think times have changed a little bit.
as they have more understanding.
Yeah, but I don't know. I go, so I know a lot of like the community of
Sure.
like the punk and the hardcore, and they all
Sure.
know I do comedy, so they're just like, this kid don't care about any of the shit.
You do kind of care though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you
Like,
go to
my
This
buddy's
Is
fan-
Hardcore?
Huh?
Do you go to This Is Hardcore?
Yeah.
How's
I went
that?
to the last three. It's exactly how it sounds. It's a 3-day fist fight, and it's
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah.
This is my number one thing.
But I guess the last one
too
they
hot.
did, this band Saves the Day headline, which they're
Okay.
a pop punk band.
Okay, and nobody liked that?
Everyone fucking loved it. People
Okay.
went absolutely batshit crazy for it.
Okay.
And this was that was like the best thing I ever saw.
Okay.
But I go because one of my friends is usually like one of the opening bands,
Nice.
so I go.
Have you seen them do like the joust shit?
Yeah,
Yeah, how's that?
that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? The
That makes it
LARPing.
int- Yes.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. It's
Well,
too
like, don't
hot.
say it's LARPing in front of some of them dudes they don't appreciate. You
Is
know?
it not LARPing?
No.
I thought it was LARPing.
Like, LARPing is like playing an RPG in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, let's go get this potion. They're just literally putting some shit on and smacking each other with.
True. The last This Is Hardcore, I hung out with Steve Skaggs and Mikey Eyes.
Fucking two incredible individuals.
Yeah.
Talked to Mikey this week, actually.
Yeah. I talked to him 2 weeks ago. He
Steve
was-
once called Mikey a gnarly little rodent, and that I think is one of the best descriptions. And I love Mikey with all my heart, but I think that's one of the best descriptions.
I love Mikey too, but he hit me
Ever.
up the other day, and it's this kid that he hangs around Suplex, I guess. He's like real into sports cards. He got to open for like a big comedian because they hooked it up for him.
Okay.
Which is great. I'm happy for that fucking
Absolutely.
dude. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Sure.
But like Mikey just hit me up to tell me about it. I was like, all right, I don't like.
Well, he's trying to inspire you, bud.
Yeah. Well, I was like, well, he told the kid's actually coming on the podcast. The kid
Yeah.
who does comedy because like I
Sure.
was talking to him. He sent me a set. I was like, yeah, it's good.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. And but it was like one of those things. I was like, why the fuck you telling me? I don't care. You know. What
That's
I mean?
more you, I think. You know.
Yeah, it's definitely a me thing.
Now, if Mike was a jerk off, which he's not, I'd be like,
He's
he's
not.
jerking you off. Like,
Yeah.
Then I'd hear you. I'd be
Yeah.
like, nah, bro, he's jaying
But he's
you
just like,
out.
yo,
yeah.
he got to open for the, like, he just told me about this cool opportunity for someone else, and I can get a little petty, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm happy for the kid.
But
I
you
was
should
like,
use
why-
that as
yeah,
like
yeah.
you should use it as like motivation.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, all right, that's cool, man.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How hard is it to get 5 minutes?
Pretty hard.
Yeah?
Yeah.
of good, right?
My head processes it in more of a longer format.
Sure.
Just so open mics are always 5 minutes. So like if I want to do a joke about being like in recovery, I spend the whole 5 minutes like setting up like, all right, guys, so I went to rehab 3 times, which is like at this point tiresome. You know what I mean? So I like longer format. That's just me. I always have. Like the first time I did it, I did 10 minutes, and it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great.
What do you think about sketch? Would you do sketch?
Yeah, I always think of good sketches, but I don't. I'm a terrible pen to paper. Like my whole hour was written in one one word things.
I get manic, expressive, if you will. Was that the Ask album? Yeah, I get like that. So like I could write a lot in a week and then not write again for a year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think like consistency. You've been consistent though. You've been
I just jot down a note and I'm like, that's what it's about. And and I also feel if I write it word for word verbatim, and this is different for everyone when it comes to that, I'm just trapped in what I wrote.
I think there's like 2 schools to that. I think Richard Pryor is where you're like that school. Like it has to kind of flow. Yeah. Like one time he tried to take like all the N-words out and it just didn't work the same way. But like I think George Carlin, everything was written. Everything he said was exactly how he wrote it. Everything was practiced.
Yeah, same shit with Seinfeld and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I like Jerry a lot, and that was probably my first favorite show, but he ain't George. You know what I mean? I'm
a big Curb guy. I just got done rewatching Curb.
I don't watch that enough. That shit'll that shit'll blow your socks off.
Yeah, if you're a George guy, you should love it because George is based off Larry.
I'm also like I grew up being George Costanza. Yeah. My mother looks exactly like Estelle Costanza. Yeah. Like at one point I had glasses at like 11. They're like, it's it, and that was like my favorite show as a kid. Yeah, was Seinfeld.
It's still timeless too. If you put it
I can't watch. No, the laugh track.
Gets you.
Oh, there's things that you notice now that it, like makes my skin crawl a little bit, and they're not like Jerry's. I never thought was that funny. He is less funny going back.
Well, that's what makes me appreciate Curb so much more because Larry is just a genius.
He's way funnier.
Larry didn't write the last season.
He's way funnier than Jerry.
Yeah.
And they don't exactly write that show, right?
Yeah, that's all like improv. Like they have the idea.
Reno 911 was like that too.
Yeah, but I think the best thing, well, I'm with this, I'll tell you this of what I think because we're almost out of time.
Sure.
But Curb, the best thing to ever happen was, and this is when I really got into loving Curb. Like I always liked it, but when JB Smoove joined the cast, and it just Larry and JB Smoove. The old whitest Jewish dude and with JB the blackest dude in the world, and they just live together. And you can't get rid of them.
And not only that, Larry understands that he doesn't understand anything, and it's so funny. If he wasn't rich, because you know what a fuck he is from watching that. He's a real fuck, but like you see him watch him have no legs to stand on.
From what I heard, he's like, so obviously. The character's based on himself. Yeah. But I've heard people be like, he's literally one of the nicest dudes ever, though, at the same time, too. And I'm like, oh, wow, no kidding.
Well, because I think, like, his neurosis makes him appreciative. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because he was the man and nobody knew till he did this show.
And I think this is the scary part. I think I relate to him too much because, like, I don't find him in the wrong that often. I'm like, I get where he's coming from.
Here's where you and Larry got to learn. I used to be very black and white. There's like the right answer, there's the wrong answer. Yeah. You have to learn to feel through the situation in real time. True. And it sucks because it's real easy. It's real easy just to be like, wrong answer, sticking, it's really easy to have your guns and you're right. And when you're right, it makes it even worse. But like what I try and do now is it's not a math problem. I'm not trying to get the right answer, right? This is a real life situation. So I think, what is the most beneficial outcome of this for me? Yeah. And then how do I get there, and at the same time I get stuck in the little neuroses. Like I'll be at a party and I won't know where, like I'll see somebody eating something dope and I'll be like, oh man, I wish I could have some, but I won't ask anybody. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I won't ask anybody.
That's terrifying.
But that's me fighting myself. I don't like fighting other people too much. You know what I mean? I rather so like in those weird, awkward social moments, either I'm going to take the awkwardness all the way to 10 and then I win, or I'm going to try and be as nice as palatable as possible. Even if I got to take a loss, at least take it and be, go on with my day. Larry gets roped in for like 4 days on the dumbest shit. He does it to himself.
He does. Well, on that, dude.
This was a real pleasure, bro.
Dude, pleasure.
This was a real pleasure.
Meet you too.
Absolutely.
Great chemistry.
Absolutely.
Maybe
I'll be back. I'll be back. I told you that before. I was like, I'll be back on this podcast.
Well, we are going to start doing return guests soon, and I think I'm pairing them up with people too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you got like the interfaces and stuff? We'll talk offline.
Yeah, we'll start doing that. Let's